And welcome to yet another episode of Goats and Rings. As usual, I am your host, Walt Stringer, Senior Draft Analyst for the East West Football Network. And tonight I am joined by Romello Skuggs, podcast host, Undisputed Spit. Brother, it's been a long time. Tell them where they can find you
at. They can find me at Instagram, Romello Skuggs. Also, they can find me on Instagram as well under Undisputed Spit. And they can find me on Facebook of Eric Arthur Russell and Undisputed Spit fan page on Facebook to get the latest boxing content, or anything else they want to discuss. They can come holler at us, anytime. So they can find us there.
No doubt.
Find me
doubt.
there.
This is something new. First person outside of the football realm that I've had on here. I've been meaning to have you on here for a minute. So first thing first, we're gonna jump into Super Bowl 56. Now, I have no idea which side I'm leaning to. I've been pretty much going back over the past week, watching a bunch of Rams games, a bunch of Bengals games, going through the numbers, trying to follow some tendencies, see what's really going on deep down in the dirt between these two teams. So, without a prediction, what do you think initially of this Super Bowl?
It's very intriguing. First and foremost, we got two number one quarterbacks, and Matthew Stafford and Joe Burrow. They ain't happened since Peyton Manning versus Cam Newton.
Yep.
Two number ones facing each other. This is a real chess match. I think Rams got the better talent. On both sides of the ball, but Bengals got the continuity. You know what I'm saying? And that's very important. It seems like they playing together, even when they bash against the wall, and they perseverance. They persevere when they bash against the wall, and they doing it on the road, and that's dangerous. It's kind of like that Rocky mentality. You know what I'm saying? You the underdog, and and you're not the favorite. So, and then they just at the end they just take it over and win. But again, I mean, it's a very intriguing. I mean, I like both teams. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this gonna be a good game. It's gonna be a close game too. At that, it's gonna be a good game.
Yeah. I think the Bengals they're showing everybody that they're a complete football team. They're not this finesse, throw the ball on first, second, and third down team. A lot of people thought they were. The offense and Joe Burrow and the triplets got them to the playoffs. Whole lot of sexy numbers, big numbers. They also won a lot of tough games. But as it is with most teams built like them, teams will pull your card come playoff time if you're not physical enough. And they've proven beyond under a shadow of a doubt that they are physical enough, they are tough enough. The offense hasn't been as pretty in the playoffs as it was during the regular season. But the comment of what you just said, they found a way to pretty much tough out these games. That Tennessee game was a tough one. That Raider game, the Wild Card game was a tough one. That Chief game was a tough one. And it really tested the mental fortitude of that team because they had to make a big comeback in that game. Now, granted, we can argue about whether or not Kansas City blew the game with what they did as far as going into halftime, not taking the points, and choosing to go for it on fourth down. And they pretty much treated that down like it was a throwaway down, like it was a throwaway possession. And there are no throwaway possessions in the playoffs. You got to take the points if you get them. They should have been going into the play and with halftime about 24-7. It was 24-10. So they went into halftime about 21-10. Probably should have been 24-10, and then you wind up losing by a field goal. So either way, whether it was Kansas City's fault or not, we can argue about that. But this Bengals team really showed me how tough they are.
Exactly. Facts.
So, and on the other side, the Rams, I was pretty hard on the Rams this season. I thought losing John Johnson in the secondary, losing Brandon Staley, the defense coordinator, which didn't turn out to be that big of a loss at all. He was over in San Diego, not San Diego, but he was in LA with the Chargers.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, maybe there's a biased part of me that just doesn't want to believe that Matthew Stafford can lead them to where they need to go, but he did it. He got them there, and even if they don't win the Super Bowl, this team is going to be right back next year, barring injuries. You know, you can't take anything for granted. That's why when you make it this far, you need to capitalize on it and win it, because as much as we are in love with Joe Burrow right now, there's no guarantee Cincinnati will be back here next year or the year after that. Things happen.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, his rookie year, he was redshirted. I mean, I think he played like 6 games or 7 games, something like that.
Before the injury at Washington.
And and then he was gone for the year. But the thing, I'm so impressed with that story because they wasn't projected to be a playoff team. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They were supposed to be early, making the team, maybe 10, 11. The draft pick, whatever, and they made it to the Super Bowl. That is remarkable. I mean, I know Stafford's story is, pretty good too, but I never heard of a second-year quarterback. First year, he played half a season. He's still a kid, you know what I'm saying? And then took his team. First, he won the division. Then went 2 playoff games on the road. I mean, they beat the Raiders first, but then they went on the road and just beat teams that I'm sure they was underdogs in. So, and the way they did it, whether it's 2 or 25, they won it. They advanced, right? And then they beat the Chiefs. That's questionable. Did Mahomes blow it? But it don't matter. Cincinnati don't care about that. They moving on. So that's their fault. So again, I'm so impressed with that, whatever. But again, as us being from Detroit, being Lions fans, and we've been watching Stafford for 13 years, you know what I'm saying? We know his limitations and we know what his greatness at. So, but again, I'm really ecstatic for him, you know what I'm saying? Because he made a career decision for himself, you know what I'm saying? And that's what you're supposed to do when you're not elevating from where you at. And that's what he did. He went to a team. He wanted to request a trade, and he was granted that trade, and he's in the Super Bowl. He don't have that narrative about him about being what Rob Parker used to call him, Statty Patty or Stat Pafford, whatever.
Stat Pafford. Yeah.
Stat Pafford, whatever. Nah, he changed the narrative. You gotta give him respect on that, whatever. So that's my take on that.
Yeah, I think it all points towards the Rams being the better team. But as we already know, the better team doesn't always win every Sunday. I think personally, what scares me about the Rams is the fact that they don't really run the ball well enough. In my opinion, I think they do a good job of manufacturing runs and getting a lot of short throws, even though I'm surprised they were actually able to stay afloat with Robert Woods being gone. But they went out and got Odell Beckham Jr., so that kind of offset that loss anyway. But they're hot right now. They're hot right now, especially throwing the ball through the air. But my question is, and the thing is, the Bengals, the one thing I noticed about them this entire season, they do a damn good job of making adjustments. Because if you pay attention to every game this season, especially in the playoffs, except for that Raider game, that Raider game kind of was won in the trenches, pretty much in the mud. But if you look at Tennessee jumped out on them kind of early, throwing the ball all around on them. They kind of settled Tennessee down, muddied Tennessee up. You look at the Chiefs game. The Chiefs jumped out on them like gangbusters. Quick.
Early. It was like 21 zip, I believe.
And then the next thing you know, it's like mid to late third quarter, and it's like everything came right back to where it was supposed to be at. And damn, Bengals right back in the game. So,
right.
like I said, I don't want to touch too much on predictions right now. I'm still looking through it. I'm just very, very intrigued. Very intrigued by this matchup. It has
Yeah,
sort
it's
of
too
a
early. Maybe like it later in the week. I
yeah.
can give you a prediction.
But I've been telling people, man, to me it has a 2004 Pistons Lakers kind of feel to it, where like you got that tough, hard-nosed Midwest team in the Cincinnati Bengals going up against that star-studded California team with the the Rams playing the role of the Lakers, and how they kind of threw that team together, and the Rams are already a really solid team. So I expect a great game, though, for sure.
Oh, facts. I expect that too. I'm looking forward to it. It's not gonna be a boring game and all that, but yeah, this is very intriguing on two teams like and two different paths. Like the beginning of the year, Rams was supposed to be that team that could beat everybody and all that because on both sides of the ball and Stafford with the trade and all that, they was the favorite to beat everybody. And now they there, whatever. And I can see Bengals giving them a run, like a good run. And remember, you touched on it too on this. They've been tested. All their games in the playoffs, they've been tested. So has the Rams, though, except the Arizona game. But the Bucks and the 49ers, they was tested too. So that's what makes it very intriguing. Like, who gonna make that key mistake and that team gonna take it over? I mean, Joe Burrow can make a mistake, and we know Matthew Stafford can make that mistake too at a bad time. So that's what's gonna come down to: adjustments. What team's gonna get that key turnover and that key possession to win that game? That's gonna be the winner of the Super Bowl. That's my predictions on that. I'm not giving my predictions on score and all that. I'm just telling you the keys are winning. So the tail the tape. Both teams.
Yeah, I find it pretty remarkable also that Joe's only turned the ball over. It's with 2 interceptions in his last 8 games, I think, either 8 or 9 games. And one of them was a complete fluke. That interception he threw against the Tennessee Titans, where the ball, that call could have went either way. That could have been incomplete or it could have been an interception. They gave it to him. It is what it is. But
when it went on the ground? Yeah.
For Joe to be that age, though, and just as composed as he's playing through all of these games. And I told people last season, his rookie season, I think it was a Thursday night game, either a Tuesday night game. It may have been one of those COVID rescheduled games, either a Tuesday night game or a Thursday night game against Jacksonville. He threw the ball 62 times, I think, in that game, and didn't turn the ball over. And when that happened, I remember that. That's what's special, because you rarely find a rookie, let alone even a veteran. You rarely find a veteran, let alone a rookie, that's going to throw the ball that much without turning the ball over or having something bad happen. So he's different, man. Insane. I tell people, Stafford's more physically gifted, I think, arm strength-wise, but Joe different, man. He's just different upstairs. And that's why I say it doesn't always come down to the physical talent, because for anybody to get somebody, first of all, dude was hurt last year. He bounced back from an ACL pretty early, might I add, and got this team right back where they needed to be. Actually ahead of schedule. And, we can say, well, Cleveland regressed this year, and Baltimore was hurt, which is all true, but the Bengals, they capitalized. They capitalized. I understand, and we can make the argument, Baltimore probably would have won that division if they wouldn't have had all the injuries they had. But everybody has.
They got some key signings too. Bengals has some key signings too, like DJ Reader and the guy from New Orleans who came from New Orleans. What's his name? The DN.
Yeah, Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah, they got some key signings too. Yeah, key signings and they drafted correctly. I mean, Jamar Chase is probably offensive rookie of the year. T. Higgins is not a slouch either. And Joe Mixon, even though he had his troubles in Oklahoma, but still, he was a beast. So, again, I mean, yeah. And Joe Burrow, especially, you know the difference between Joe Burrow and Matthew Stafford. Joe Burrow is more a leader. You know what I'm saying? And Matthew Stafford is not a leader. I mean, he's good and all that, but he's not a leader. Like, I know he got the game comebacks and all that, but again, it just Joe Burrow is a better leader than him, to me. That's my opinion.
You know what I think it is? Partly, I think there's a lot to be said for somebody who had to, quote unquote, get it out the mud. Like if you think about all the great quarterbacks across NFL history, they all had chips on their shoulders. They all got slept on, except for Elway. There's a few guys who went at the top. Andrew Luck went at the top, but for the most part, they all had to pretty much go get it out the mud. Look where Burrow came from. Burrow was a 3-star recruit, 2-star recruit coming out of high school, ended up at Ohio State, couldn't crack the starting lineup there, ended up at LSU, took my man's job at LSU, and the rest is history. Look at Russell Wilson. Russell started at NC State, performed there well, left there, went to Wisconsin, performed it well there. People just didn't want to believe Russell was as good as Russell was. Russell got drafted in the 3rd round, came in, took Matt Flynn's job, the rest is history. Tom Brady. Nobody believed Tom. We all know Tom's story. We ain't going to be jumping into
we already know that story. We know that story already. So
we want to talk about Brett Favre. We can talk about Aaron Rodgers not getting drafted at number 22. We can talk about Drew Brees being drafted in the 2nd round.
Yeah.
There's something to be said for somebody who didn't have everything handed to him. And not to say that Stafford wasn't tough or Stafford had everything handed to him, but Stafford was the number 1 quarterback coming out of high school, 1 spot ahead of Ryan Mallett, which is oddly enough. But yeah, he was the number 1 quarterback coming out of high school. He was the number 1 overall pick in the draft. And he spent 11, 12 years here, and they never once pushed him. They went out and drafted Brad Kaya. They drafted Jake Rudock. And that's what you did to your backup position. Like it's like, to me, they did so much while Stafford was here to coddle him and to make sure he wasn't rubbed the wrong way. So that's a perfect transition, man. So listen, I'm gonna jump straight into this first, man. My issue is not with Stafford. I actually like Stafford a lot. My thing with him is more so disappointment. Because the same guy we see with the Rams this year, we saw flashes of that with him here. Stafford could be a monster when he wanted to be a monster. It just came down to whether or not he was mentally focused. Because on any given Sunday, is the Matthew going to show up that sleepwalks through the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd quarter, then decides to wake up in the 4th? Is that what we was going to get?
Yeah.
Or was we going to get the Stafford that came out scorching hot in the 1st half and then sleepwalked through the 3rd quarter, then woke up midway through the 4th when it was too late and we lose 27-24? So, like I said, my issue was never him. My big issue was with the picture the media chose to paint. Whether it was directed at the city of Detroit, and we have a chip on our shoulder because me and you discuss this all the time. The national media treats us like shit. Whether it's the Detroit Pistons, it's the Detroit Lions. Even when the Red Wings were hot, the league really didn't give a damn about the Red Wings because they wasn't a Canadian team. Even though they were one of the original teams, it still wasn't a Canadian team, so the NHL didn't give a damn about the Red Wings like that. So, in your estimation, what do you think about Stafford's legacy here and your overall thoughts on what could have been and what happened?
Woo. This is heavy. Well, I'm gonna start off with the legacy in the Lions. Well, it's a fact that he's the best Lions quarterback ever. And I mean, you got to go through the history. Ronnie Peete and Joey Harrington and Andre Ware and and Eric Kramer and all that stuff. Like, oh my God. But Stafford, yeah, he's the greatest Lion quarterback ever, but what that got to do with anything when he never won a playoff game with us, and he could have. Everybody keep talking about the narrative that Stafford ain't never had anybody, but guess what? He had the greatest receiver in my generation, and Calvin Johnson, and my favorite player too. So that's no excuse. Like 2014, people keep sleeping on that, including the media. 2014, they had the number 2 defense, and they had the top maybe 10 offense. So it's no excuses that he should not beat Dallas, you know what I'm saying, in that playoff game. It's no excuses. And they had the lead too. We jumped on them early. I remember that. I do. You know what I'm saying? But then the thing with Stafford too, yeah, we know he got the arm strength. We know he got the talent. We know all this. But when we need him to win that game, that big game, he doesn't show up at all. He doesn't. He really don't. So, yeah, he got the yards. He got the completions. He got the touchdowns as a Lions. But who's second of all time on the Lions team? Can you name him? Who's the second best quarterback on the line ever?
Rodney Pete.
Yeah.
You talking about of our generation? Eric?
Yeah,
Kramer?
maybe. Okay, yeah. Ooh, damn. And we didn't even draft Eric Kramer. He came from the Bears, didn't he? Or didn't he come from the Bears?
I thought he finished up his career. He didn't finish up with the Bears, but he did spend a decent little amount of time with the Bears.
I can't remember we drafted him. I know we drafted Andre Ware, and he was the number 1 pick. We had Rodney P. We had Charlie Batch, as you mentioned off the tape. Joey Harrington, we drafted him. Ooh, God, man. It's like this quarterback list is making me sick. I can't even think who's the second best quarterback on the Lions franchise history. You can't do it. But speaking on Stafford's legacy, I think his legacy is okay for the Lions. The organization made a lot of mistakes, big mistakes. They didn't follow up from the 2014 bad drafting, bad coaching carousels, and bad offensive coordinators. It was like a carousel. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't no stability, and that's why it didn't work. You need stability. I think we all know this. We talk about this all the time. And they should not got rid of Jim Caldwell because we had success with him. You know what I'm saying? He got fired from a 9-7 record, but we already know what that's about. You know what I'm saying? Why he got fired, whatever. We know this. So It was never stability. You know what I'm saying? That's important. Bad drafting and no stability. If you don't have those 2 key components, you lose every time. Period. You need a foundation to build something. And we didn't, and Stafford never had that, except 2014, and they just didn't follow up on it.
Yeah. The first thing that really jumped out to me, I always tend to go back whenever I have this Stafford discussion with anybody, is the 2012 season where they went 4-12. And that was Jim Schwartz's final season before he got fired. Now, that team had a shot. I forgot what their record was. They started either 6-2, I think that season, or 7-2, something like that. They had a strong shot at the division, and that was the season that Matthew Stafford had that meltdown.
Oh,
he just
yeah.
started throwing picks left and right the final 5 or 6 games of the season, and then Jim Schwartz got fired. And then, of course, they brought Caldwell in. Caldwell went 7-9 in 2013. They had the 11-5 infamous 2014 season with the Dallas Cowboys loss 7-9, 9-7, 9-7. Now, the one thing I do notice about Stafford, Caldwell managed to step in and calm things down. Because the Stafford that we saw in 2012 with all the interceptions that finished 4-12, that was the Stafford that sort of started to rear his ugly head this season down the stretch for the Rams. Difference is, and as much as I give Stafford his blame for not winning here, the organization does deserve more blame than he does. Completely. Mm-hmm. Because if you look at what's going on with the Rams now, the Rams have a bright enough coaching staff to understand that, okay, you know what, we tried it with Stafford. We let him just cut loose too much. He has a tendency to start turning the ball over. We're going to start reining things in. We're going to start running a lot more intermediate routes, get him comfortable, then start pumping the ball back downfield. Then that's how you pretty much get Stafford back into his groove. He's in a situation right now, and this was something I remember. I went back and I read the scouting report. Well, a certain NFL, a certain AFC scouting report on Matthew Stafford back when he was at Georgia, and it made perfect sense. And it said, word for word, he is a young man who can be great, has the talent to be great, but will never be great if he goes to the wrong organization. And that was before the Lions even drafted him. Basically, he needs to be spoon-fed. He can cut loose when you need him to cut loose, but he has to be spoon-fed. Because if you let Stafford just sling the ball all over the field, he's going to turn the ball over. He can't do it without turning the ball over. But I would say the blame goes, in my opinion, probably 60-40. Probably
that's fair.
On the Lions organization.
That's fair.
Because we see what the best of him is now. Now, granted, he's getting all of this done with, I don't want to necessarily call them a souped-up team because they're not a souped-up team. They were pretty much put together. They just added a couple pieces. But let's don't get it twisted. His journey to the Super Bowl is completely different from Joe Burrow's journey to the Super Bowl. You know,
absolutely.
I keep telling you, Joe has, for that matter, a second-year head coach. He's still learning on the job pretty much. He's got the youngest roster in football this year.
Yeah. And the most horrible offensive line.
24 years old.
Correct.
And he has the worst offensive line in football. So I don't want to hear any damn excuses about Stafford not having this, Stafford not having that. And I understand, don't get me wrong. No quarterback, no number one overall pick should have to go to the situation he had to come to here. Or even
Taylor May.
But when you're the number one overall pick, 9 times out of 10, you went to a horrible team anyway. Unless it's a situation where you got the San Antonio Spurs, who the year before they got Duncan, they just went through a rash of injuries.
Right.
And ended up with the number one overall pick. But for the most part, you're going to end up in a bad situation. And I just don't want to hear the excuses that he couldn't get it done or he couldn't make a big enough difference when I seen Andrew Luck take over a horrible team. Now, that was a better franchise, but they went through a lot. That roster was gutted when Luck got there.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, with Peyton Manning. Yeah.
He also had the worst offensive line in football that year. His starting running back was Vic Ballard. And his number one wide receiver was Hilton. And he got 11 wins with that team.
And that offensive line, you speak on that offensive line was so bad, it made him retire. So it made him retire. So but you hit the you on the money with that one. I can't really come on a rebuttal, but what I gotta say is Stafford went to a tailor-made team. Let's keep it real because the quarterback we have now, Jared Goff, went to the Super Bowl too with the same majority, the same personnel. Aaron Donald, not Jalen Ramsey, but Aaron Donald, Cooper Kupp, and he went to the Super Bowl too. Now that Saints game, that's questionable, but he still went. You know what I'm saying? So Stafford went to a tailor-made situation. We got to keep that in mind too. You know what I'm saying? And everybody's dogging Jared Goff. Like Jared Goff is horrible. He was the number one pick too. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. Do he got his limitations? Yes, he do. He really do. You know what I'm saying? Can he throw the ball? Yeah, but it's not as accurate. Whatever. So you gotta get a personnel to hide his limitations. You know what I'm saying? Like we need it. I know we're still talking about Stafford's legacy, but I wanted to jump on this for a second about what the Lions should do. You know what I'm saying? With Jared Goff, whatever. So what I think is I think you need a lot of playmakers to hide his limitations. You know what I'm saying? You gotta keep with a quarterback like that, like the quarterback not gonna give you the wins. You gotta limit. You gotta get the playmakers too. You got to. You know what I'm saying? To disguise the limitations.
Right.
You know, because he's a middle of the pack quarterback, just like Jimmy G, just like give me another name. Even Eli Manning, Kirk Cousins, even Eli Manning. Eli Manning, to me, the reason he's so popular because of his last name. Who he associated with. His older brother's Peyton, and his father's Arch Manning. So, you know what I'm saying? Archie Manning, I'm sorry. So, again, I looked at him as like a game manager. So, again, but back to Stafford, I think you hit the nail on the head when you talking about what they said about him coming out of college. I never thought about that until you said it. And you absolutely right on that. So,
yeah, well, to touch back on the Lions, I think. All right, so I think Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell are stuck, kind of like between a rock and a hard place. Because the thing is this: you want to win, but you also want to make sure you can have that longevity winning going on. The best chance for this team to win within the next 2 years is for Jared Goff to be the quarterback and for them to build around him. Because if you go out and you pick Malik Willis or you pick Sam Howell or you pick Carson Strong or whoever, you're delaying that winning probably by another 4 years. 3 years at 3 years at the least. Okay. Ain't no rookie quarterback stepping into this situation and winning. Now, a guy like Malik Willis, he has that Lamar Jackson, Michael Vick kind of Josh Allen type of splash factor where, you know what, all things aren't working well right now. I can escape the pocket. I can get out. I can pick up first downs. I can get out of bounds. I can keep things alive. Yeah. He's a weapon. But do I think they're going to win anything with Malik Willis within the next 3 years if they took him? No. So it comes down to, if you're Brad Holmes, you know that, man, listen, I got to start winning within the next 2 years. They understand we're not winning next year. But by 2023, we got to be winning. I say this. Next season, I look at next season as a success. If they can win 7 to 8 games next season, I'm cool with that.
Actually, though, I got them winning 8 games next year. Think about this for a second. Now, okay, first and foremost, they're going to have cap room. That's one. Now, do they got to get a splashy name? Not really. Just get people to fit your foundation. That's one. And what they need the most, and when I look at them, they need linebackers like crazy. You know what I'm saying? So, they can use defensive end or line, whatever. They can use that too. But the most glaring need from them is linebackers. They need linebackers and with speed too. You know what I'm saying? So they can get that free agency and they can get that one receiver from free agency too. Maybe Chris Goodwin, maybe, because he did come from an injury and the price gonna be down a little bit. Allen Robinson, he's from Detroit. Maybe you could convince him because he might be the number one receiver, more likely. I still drive one too, but you know what I'm saying? Just get key free agents. And the one free agent I think Lions should really target is Marcus Williams. Safety. And really they need that playmaker on defense. If they can do those things, I think Lions can really win 8 games. So their schedule is light. They play AFC East teams and they play NFC East teams. I mean, you already know what the NFC East look like. You know what I'm saying? You know, Cowboys won that in that division. Giants, we don't know. The Washington, what's their name? Commanders now. The Commanders don't know. You know what I'm saying? Philly, okay, all right. We'll see. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of teams on their resumes like we'll see. And you know what I'm saying? And you don't know what they're gonna do with Aaron Rodgers' situation. If Aaron Rodgers leaves, that division's for the taking. Really, it's for the taking. Minnesota don't have a head coach. Chicago, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Again, you know what I'm saying? I think Chicago will have the better talent than everybody else. But again, if Aaron Rodgers leaves, the North is for the taking, and Detroit have a shot. They do. I believe that.
So as far as the receiver position, personally, I think they should draft 2 and sign at least 1 in free agency. I'm trying to take a wide receiver within the first 2 rounds of the draft, and I'm trying to take another one, maybe 4th, 5th, somewhere around there. Depending on what they do with that number 2 pick, all the words all the words that I'm hearing coming out of the Senior Bowl is that they want out of that pick anyway. If they don't, I think it's gonna come down to Malik Willis. If they fall in love with Malik Willis to the level that I'm hearing that they fall in love with him, don't be shocked if he go number 2 overall come April. I think, and I was telling somebody else this the other day, I honestly believe that if they stay at number 2, I don't think they will. But if they do, he's the pick. I don't think they stand at number 2 and taking Aiden Hutchinson or Kayvon Thibodeau at all. That's why they tried to move out of there. I think that's the big reason. I think a big reason they trying to move out too is Jermaine Johnson, the defensive end from
Florida State.
Like they realize, like this is not a 2-man edge rusher class the way people tried to pump it up to be. This is a deep class, and I would much rather take getting Jermaine Johnson and Kyle Hamilton as a combo over getting just Kayvon Thibodeau or just Aiden Hutchinson at number 2. So I think it comes down to who wants to trade up. Giants. I don't think the Jets are trading up to get anybody. The Giants got 2 top 10 picks. I don't see the Jets really trading up like that. The Giants could want to trade up for a quarterback. Philly got 3. They got 3 first-round picks.
They got like a mid-tier pick. I wouldn't go that far, but if the Giants want to do business, don't they got like the 5th and the 7th?
I believe so.
If they got the 5th and the 7th, I would do that. I would definitely do that. Give me them 2 picks. You can have number 2. And then if they do that, but think about this though. Think about this scenario. What about Tampa Bay? Is rumored that they trying to go out and get the quarterback since Tom Brady retired. Maybe they look at Jared Goff. Maybe. Now, if they, just hypothetically speaking, if they reach out to Detroit saying, okay, we want Jared Goff, we take his contract and everything, that's a game changer. Then we can look at number 2. Then they take Malik Willis, and we're going to take some punishment because he's still a rookie, whatever. But that's just hypothetically speaking. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm looking at that too. Because it is rumored that they gonna want a quarterback like that, like experience. Yeah. So I'm paying attention to that. But if not, you know what I'm saying? They can trade for the Giants for 5 and 7 or whatever they place that. I would take that. I like that Jermaine and Kyle Hamilton. I like that. I really do. I like that combo better than Hutchinson. Hutchinson's good. Don't get me wrong. He good, but I don't think he's working number 2 pick.
You willing to move? Like, so say, like, because currently Tampa has the 27th overall pick. You willing to move for? Let's just say Tampa called and said we'll give you our first round pick this year straight up for Goff. I don't think that's worth the pick though, because you're talking about moving from number 2 all the way down to number 27.
No. What about if Tampa Bay called line?
I got that all twisted. Now, okay, so let me ask you this: would you trade Goff straight up for the 27th overall pick? Because that there will put Detroit with picking number 2, number 27, number 32, and number 34. So that'll give you what 4 picks in the top 34.
Low key, I'll do it. You give me a first rounder, give me your 27. You could take Goff and pay his majority of his contract. That will put Lions in big business. Really. It will remind me of the Herschel Walker trade. You know how the Herschel Walker trade went down, and they got the Cowboys got a lot of picks. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And they made them to a juggernaut of a team. I can look at that as that scenario. Because they got the 2, they got 20, they will have 27, they trade with Tampa Bay, then they have the Rams pick, and then they have the second rounder. They will have maybe 11 picks. And they got 2 first rounders in the next 2 years. Yeah. That's the scenario I would look at. You know what I'm saying? Really. If Tampa Bay want to do that. Because Tampa Bay really is a contender.
Yeah.
They just need a quarterback now. So
I think for us, our best bet is New York, man. The Giants. Our best bet is that whoever comes in falls in love with Malik Willis or falls in love with whoever and wants to move up to 2. I'll jump back from 2 and pick up and be picking at 5 and 7 in a heartbeat. I would love 5 and 7 because that means I'm comfortable taking Kyle Hamilton at number 5. I'm not comfortable taking him at number 2. You're not going to take a safety at number 2. But that puts us in this position unless the Jets want to take him at number 4 or whatever, which I don't think will happen. But we picking at 5 and 7. You can take Kyle Hamilton at number 5 and then turn around and take an edge rusher at number 7. Or if there's a receiver on the board that you want at number 7, you can take. You got some flexibility now. You got a lot of flexibility now if you picking at 5 and 7. I would prefer if they moved out of that 2 spot and moved back to 5 and 7. I would prefer that they took 2 defensive players though.
Yeah,
mainly,
I think that's got the defense.
A linebacker, man. We got to get a linebacker here within these first.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Either free agency or the draft. We need that linebacker, bro.
I would prefer that over an edge rusher, and I'll tell you why. Like I tell people, we getting Romeo back next season.
Right.
Like he gonna be healthy. His brother Julian gonna be healthy. They probably gonna bring Charles Harris back. Aleem McNeil gonna be a year older. Like that defensive line, we got people. And we can go out in free agency and get a couple people. So I don't think edge rusher is as serious as a need as people make it out to be. Especially if you can get an edge rusher, you can get an edge linebacker. Look what Dallas did with Michael Parsons. And now listen, as much as I love Penei Sewell, and I think Sewell is going to be an all-pro, he doesn't compare to having a guy who can get you 13, 14, 15 sacks, man. Like that means a lot.
Yeah, man.
Just think if we had took Parsons. Just think if we had Parsons to build around.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went out this year and we got Thibodeau, or we went out and we got Jermaine Johnson, and we went out and got Kyle Hamilton, or whoever, N'Kobe Dean, or whatever. Now, don't get me wrong. We got a situation set up perfectly for whoever the next quarterback is, because they're gonna have an offensive line. Frank gonna be back next year, so, and then they're gonna have a running game. Truthfully, I think this team is set up to
12
people. We set up to be a power run football team.
I think so too. You touch it. You getting some key points to me. You know what I'm saying? Because the line is dope. That line is not the Great Wall of China or Dallas. It's not that, but it's in that stratus. It's in that circumference. It's in that area.
They're guard.
You know what I'm saying? I want to trade Taylor Decker. I want to do that. The line is dope. That's their strength in their team. Whatever. Like you say, if you get that 2 receiver and get like a gadget guy with speed who can, you know what I'm saying, make a big play off the offense, man, I think Lions is closer than we thinking right now. Cause when you say, y'all know they can win 8 games or 7, I think they can, bro. Like, really, with that offense, they had a lot of people missing. And with that defense, you right, the Okoro brothers gonna be back. You know what I'm saying? At key pieces, they get a safety and a linebacker. I'm telling you, they gonna be the darlings of the in the league. I'm telling you, and they're not gonna be the laughing stock no more. Real spit.
Yeah, it's about finding playmakers, man. I don't give a damn what position. Every team that does it, they find a different way to do it. Look at Cincinnati. Like, they got their playmaker at quarterback last year, and then they took a wide receiver at number 5. Now everybody looked at. They paid the price for it though, because they could have took Penei Sewell. They could have took my man from the Chargers. The Chargers took Slater.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
They could have took
Slater. Rashad Slater.
But there's no guarantee they would be in the Super Bowl if they would have took either one of those other 2 guys too. So you only a couple playmakers away. That's the whole thing about it. I think when it comes to NFL, you only a few touchdowns or a couple takeaways away. You got a guy like Cal Hamilton who can potentially erase everything on the back end. You get you an edge rusher at linebacker, a playmaker at linebacker, and that defense looks completely different.
Yeah.
So I think they can be fine at corner. I think they're going to have to go ahead and pay Amani because Amani deserves it.
He do.
You're going to have to pay him. And then, I like Melifonwu. I do.
But,
I just got
to
say
question.
Jeff the wild card.
Yeah, that was my next question to you. What we do with Jeff Okudah? What we do with him? What would you do?
If I'm them, I'll cut him. Unless he showed me, the guaranteed money ain't there. They didn't draft him. Bob Quinn drafted him. Like,
you're right.
They was already having issues with him in the offseason, you know what I'm saying, prior to this season. And he coming off that ACL, so what do we expect Jeff to be? And if he come back, you're going to have to play him in the slot. But you can't play him at the nickel because he's not quick enough.
Facts.
So, free safety. Well, he ain't got enough range to play free safety. So it's like, what do you do with him?
Okay. You're right on that.
Don't get me wrong. We still need to draft one. I even thought about old boy from LSU.
Oh, Singletary?
Yeah. I thought about it too. Not at number 2, hell no.
No. I thought about Kobe Bryant as well too. Later though.
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant from Cincinnati. I thought about him, whatever. Okay, question to you again. And this is the big domino effect. What do they do with Trey Flowers?
How many years left?
I think 2 or 3. I think I don't know, 2 or 3.
Man, how much did Bob Quinn give his boy?
He gave him 5 years, 85.
Yeah. All right. Well, get on the phone with New England and see if they want him back.
That'd be a start, but
the problem is, in order to get rid of him, we're gonna have to eat some of that money. Because ain't nobody taking him without us eating some of that money. We already eating enough money as it is. So,
but we already suffering from Bob Quinn's mistakes, though. So it's kind of like it's kind of like pick your poison. Either eat the money or keep him, and he doesn't fit. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't fit the 3-4. He doesn't fit. So I say just take your losses.
Throw a couple picks in there, maybe throw a 5th round pick in there for somebody to take. Because ain't nobody about to take that money straight up.
You're right. You're definitely right.
So we're gonna have to bribe somebody to take the money.
But I think what I heard of Whoop with Sports, I think if they cut him, I think they saved $10 million. So it'd be $10 million to the cap. I think he make like $16 million right now, something like that. But if we cut him
before April, I think if they cut him before April 5th.
Yeah, I do it. You gotta in order to build something, you gotta get rid of the dead weight that was a part of the problem. Trey Flowers was the problem. You know what I'm saying? Jeff Okudah is the problem. Like, I thought about this before I came on. I thought about it. If Brian Quinn was smart, if he drafted Justin Herbert, guess what? We wouldn't have to take Goff, right? We would have had the 2 first-round picks or whatever.
That didn't help. Drafting Justin Herbert didn't help them because they was all about saving their jobs. So they felt like they had to draft a player that could step in and play right now. Herbert was going to sit behind Stafford anyway.
We know that. But then that would put the heat on Stafford, though. That's enough. Back to Stafford for a second. That was the problem. Nobody didn't give Stafford the heat as far as like backup. You know what I'm saying? You know how Drew Bledsoe from the Patriots was the starter, and then Tom Brady was like right behind him. Yep. And then when Tom Brady stepped up, and then they put Drew Bledsoe in a tough spot. Nobody never did that from the Lions, and that was the problem too. But again, I mean, that's ancient history. So
yeah, we spent a lot of time on them damn Lions, man.
We fans, man.
We're gonna have plenty of time for it, man, because I'm starting up a new Lions page and the Lions podcast with my man V for the win. I'm definitely gonna have you on there a bunch, man. It's gonna be a weekly podcast. We'll try to turn it into a daily podcast. We're gonna bring all the late breaking news on the Detroit Lions, all the fresh news. We're gonna do specials on the draft for them, draft prospects, everything. Try to turn it into that one-all page that you need for the Detroit Lions in general for here in Detroit, because we got a lot of pages, a lot of Lions content pages here in Detroit, but I don't think, and I'm not hating on nobody else's page, but I don't think we have the people giving the true in-depth knowledge of football that the fans here really crave.
Yeah.
The pages here are more or less not mascot pages, but they kind of are like mascot pages. Where people just kind of like just behind the Lions, go Lions with their pom-poms on, and they're not giving you the real about what's really going on with the franchise. So we'll be back, man. We're gonna be here all summer. But we got a few minutes before this fight jump off, man. We got one time. I'm gonna say this, man.
Go ahead.
I don't know a lot about Barrios, but I know this. Last summer, he was overwhelmed by Tank. There ain't no shame in being overwhelmed by Tank, Them short little stubby arms get to smack you all across the chin that bad things happen.
Right.
But
he got power too.
He fought Tank at 140?
Yeah.
So now you're talking about moving up to fight Thurman at welter. Barrios used to being the taller, longer fighter. That's not happening right now, even though I think he is taller than Thurman. But
I think he got about an inch.
Yep. Then on the other hand, you got Keith. I'm not as down on Keith about that Pacquiao fight as a lot of people were. But I will say this. Activity seems to give Thurman problems now. Look at Keith's skin in this picture, man. Keith look wore down, man. I'm like, I'm real about it.
That's what 3 years of a layoff would do to you.
You done had a total of a 3-year layoff, and you do more talk. That's how you know when a fighter is pretty much done. They do more talking. They doing more podcasts and fighting. That's kind of how when I knew the red light went off for me that Sean Porter was done, or that Sean Porter was kind of winding his career down. Sean was talking a whole lot more about fighting. Even though Sean he'll still lace his boots up and get out there and knuckle up with anybody. Not anymore because he stepped away. But Thurman was doing a whole lot more teaching, a whole lot more evaluating the other fighters and this and that. And you look at it for what it is. Keith ain't stepping in the ring with boots. High risk.
Oh, hell no.
He ain't stepping in the ring with Errol. Too high risk.
Hell no, bro.
It ain't happening. He ain't stepping in the ring with Terrence.
Hell no. no, and no. Before you even ask the question, no, and no. Errol Spence, man, he been trying to get at this guy for about maybe 5-6
Well, the
years
excuse
now.
was Arrow didn't have a strap, but Arrow got all the straps now.
He got 2 straps, man. No, and now he wants to fight Thurman. Now he wants to fight Bud Crawford. Now because he know
wants some
his
money.
star is reigning, is feigning. You know what I'm saying? Is going the way. No, man, no. To me, I'm not even trying to be funny, but one time is a gatekeeper now. You know what I'm saying? He is. He's that guy. He's like that stopgap to get to the Spence and the Bud Crawfords and all like that, because that's what Porter was. Porter was that stopgap. He's a tough son of a bitch. He is. But he's that stopgap. He's that guy you need to get over. He's that, you know what? Oh my God. Okay. Well, one time Thurman, right? You know what I'm saying? He was the WBC champion. He went to the distance with Sean Porter as you speak. He went the distance with Ganny Garcia, even though that fight to me can wait either way, both fights actually. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if this fight tonight gonna push the needle, but Mario Barrios is training in Virgil Hill. And guess who's fighter that he has? He has Errol Spence. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I definitely don't know. I can see an upset. I can see an upset.
Yeah, Keith looks in tip-top shape. I don't really know what the hell that really means, considering the fact that they all look like they're in tip-top shape. I expect you to look like you in tip-top shape, but
you better.
We won't.
And 3 years layoff, you better.
Yeah, but that's the thing. And after a 3-year layoff, 2-year layoff after that Pacquiao fight, we won't know anything about you until mid-fifth round, when that conditioning starts to get a little tested, you know. Because that's the thing, like, he up in age. Is Keith Thurman in way better shape than me? I'm pretty damn sure he is. Is he in boxing shape? I'm pretty sure he is. But is he in fight now and compete right now shape? That's what it is.
That's a different beast.
Now,
he's active. He's active.
Yeah, the thing that could help Keith out is the fact that I don't think Barrio is strong enough. I'll be shocked if Barrios move up to welterweight and stop Keith Thurman tonight. I'll be shocked. But if that happens, I think Keith walks away, because Keith has nothing else after that. You know, if you lose and you get stopped by a guy that moves up,
yeah,
a guy that just got TKO'd by Javante,
yeah,
there's nowhere else for you to really go. I mean, Ugas, even if Ugas loses to Spence, Ugas not coming back down to fight you. Not coming down with. There's no reason for Ugas to fight Thurman, and that's not even a money draw for anybody.
Ugas is a beast, though. He is a beast, and he come from that Cuban school, meaning like he's defense. You know what I'm saying? He's a great counterpuncher too. So
man, I don't want to hear that. Spence about to stop that man.
I don't know, man. Speaking of Spence, he been out for a minute too, though. Think about that. He had the detached retina. Last year, he's supposed to fight Pacquiao, and that got canceled. That hurt my soul because I wanted to see that fight too. And then he had the accident too, even though he beat the brakes off Denny Garcia. But still, I don't know, man. Ugas, man, he gave Sean Porter. I think he beat Sean Porter, in my opinion, because again, he's a great counterpuncher. He's great with timing. He come from that Cuban school. You know what I'm saying? Like the Arislandi Lara. You know what I'm saying? He don't fight, whatever, but he got great defense, whatever. He doesn't hit enough. That's why nobody don't want to fight him, because he doesn't fight. He played defense all day. So nobody doesn't fight him. But he come from that school, even though Ugas is more active than Lara is, whatever. But again, his timing is perfect. He fought Pacquiao perfect. It was like with Pacquiao trying to, you know what I'm saying, come in, he's timing him. Bam. You know what I'm saying? He coming in with that the weird angles, bam, he's timing them every time. And he was bigger than Pacquiao too. And it was a short week notice. So again, man, I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? But after this fight tonight, I think Thurman got the experience, but I would not be shocked if Barrios win. I would not be shocked on that because he's active. You know what I'm saying? This is a man coming up a 3-year layup.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
I ain't about to let you just shoot down Arrow like that, man. Listen.
I'm a fan of Arrow, man. I'm a fan. I love Bud better, but
man, I'm gonna ask you this, because you the hardcore boxer, man. Is Ugas better than Danny?
Say Ugas better than who?
Danny Garcia.
Yes.
You think he's a better fighter than Danny Garcia?
Yes. And I'm gonna tell you why. Danny Garcia, he's strong. He's very strong, but also he's flat-footed. Mm-hmm. Ugas moves. You know what I'm saying? And he moves. He's a counter puncher, yes, but he moves. He moves in different angles. Danny Garcia is flat-footed. Now, Danny Garcia to me need to move up in weight. He need to be in 154. He need to challenge the Charlo, where the younger Charlo
the other day.
Say that again?
I thought he threatened the Charlo the other day.
He did. Everybody threatened the Charlos though. You know what I'm saying? They talk a lot, so yeah. But I think Ugas is better. I'm telling you. Watch Ugas some more. I'm telling you. You see his footwork and you see his timing. He might have the best timing, not named Bud. His timing is impeccable, man. At that in that class.
You know,
his timing is good.
And Errol beat Danny.
Yeah, beat the press off him.
Some people argue about how bad he beat Danny. I done watched that fight about 3 or 4 times. He dominated Danny. Now Danny had his moments where he was cracking, because Danny gonna always crack you. Danny can crack. Danny got time, and Danny he's a counter puncher. But when you go back and you watch that fight, it was the epitome of how Errol fights: high work rate, steady power jab, pressure, body shots. And it gets to a point where Errol breaks you down. If you look how he fought Danny, I ain't never seen Danny look like that after he fought nobody, man. Like even if you look at Danny in the ring, look how substantially bigger Errol looked than Danny. Yeah. And that was the first thing Danny said after the fight. He said that you could feel Errol's presence on you. Like Errol is a big dude. That's
he saw. Yeah. He saw. Yeah.
Like
he saw and he's bigger. Yeah.
And that's what I think is gonna be different too for Ugas. Like Errol is a big. That's why I think it'll be different for Bud too, because Errol is a big rugged southpaw. He's a big rugged southpaw that you don't see that often, with a high work rate that's accurate. Like this dude is probably the most accurate body puncher in boxing right now.
He is the best body puncher. Not named Canelo, but he is. I give you that. I definitely give you that.
I thought the Danny fight would be a little closer than what it turned out to be, but like around the 7th round, I'm like, dog, like Danny, he overwhelmed. And that's what Spence do. He overwhelmed you. He overwhelms you. That's what I'm like, Ugas got the time and everything, but I'm like, Spence don't leave much room for you to time it. It's like,
he's a boy. He's a boy. You know what I'm saying? And I like Spence. I do.
That's the whole thing.
Yeah. I don't know if you can eat Bud's punches though. Ooh, but on the flip side, Bud's my favorite boxer. Period. That's my guy. You know what I'm saying? That is my guy. If you know me, you know I speak on Bud highly.
Oh, Bud, my guy too. Him and Errol.
Yeah, Errol, my guy. You know what I'm saying? Errol, my guy too. I like Bud better because I think Bud's more versatile. I mean, he can counter punch you. He got speed. His defense is good. I mean, he kind of could beat you in any kind of way you want. You want to bang, he gonna bang with you. If you want to play defense, he gonna stalk you. You know what I'm saying? He could beat you in so many ways. You know what I'm saying? And you're right. Errol Spence is the best body puncher, not Nate Canelo. He is. He will bang your body, you know what I'm saying? Pause. Until you just, you know what I'm saying? until you give up, until it's over with. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he did the same with goddamn, Kell Brook. I'm sorry, Kell Brook. He did it with Chris Algieri. He did it with a lot of people, but again, he's the best body puncher. I give you, he is big. So, you know, but you know, but again,
man, it's a complete contrast in styles. Similar to what Roy. You can make the comparison of Roy and Bernard, maybe when they had they fight. It was a complete contrast of styles. Who else? That was really well. You could say Sugar and Marvin.
Facts. That's the perfect example. Perfect example. You know, Marvin was like Marvelous was. I don't call him Marvin. I call him Marvelous. God rest his soul. But he's like the bull coming at you, and he's a southpaw too. He was a southpaw, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And what made me mad about that fight? Oh my God. Okay. He came at Thomas Hearns, and you know Tommy Hearns that's home. That's the home fighter. He's home.
He was the good hit man that night.
Yeah. He got hit a lot and all that stuff. They was banging. I mean, you know it. You know what I'm saying? That's the best first round I ever seen in my life, and it will never be like that ever again in sports. In that sport, ever. It will never be like that again. Best first round, 3 rounds I ever seen. Now, he jumped on Thomas Hearns. Jumped on him, like, quickly. Didn't give him time to think. Smothered the shit out of him. Didn't give him time to think. Didn't give him time to adjust. Nothing. Just jumped on him. He didn't do the same thing with Sugar Ray Leonard, and he was out. And Sugar Ray Leonard was out 3 years. He was out 3 years because he had detached retina, and that's no joke either. And that would make me mad about Marvin, even though Marvin had a lot of moments in that fight. But you gave Sugar you gave him the floor. Once you give him that floor, and he's a bigger boxer than you, not stature, but I'm talking about popularity and the judges and stuff like that, he's gonna beat you on that. Everybody knows Sugar. Well, even you're not a fan of boxing, you know Sugar Ray Leonard.
With a lot of people too, because a lot of people thought that he was just this finesse boxer and this and that. No. Like
no.
Sugar was no sucker at all in that ring.
Oh no. If you think he's a sucker, look at the Roberto Duran fight. Look at that, and tell me he's a sucker or not.
he was tough. It was mainly
as hell.
Sugar voice. Sugar voice is where people got it twisted about Sugar because of his voice. Like, but nah, man, Sugar was bringing the damage.
No, he brought the flame. I mean, look at look at the first Roberto Duran fight, and look at the first Tommy Hearns fight against him. I mean, him and Tommy Hearns won. Look at them 2 fights, and yes, Sugar ain't no joke. He's a legend, Hall of Famer. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I like him, but I like Marvin and Thomas Hearns more. I mean, because I'm being biased on Thomas Hearns because he's from the D. You know what I'm saying? Pause.
That's kind of how I am about Tony. Even though James Tony can fight his ass off too, but like Tony was, I remember I posted that on Facebook a long time ago. He was one of my top 5 fighters ever. My favorite 5.
Oh, lights out! Oh, absolutely. Lights out, Tony. The fat Tony who beat Evander Holyfield.
That Tony. Hey man, listen, from time to time. Matter of fact, I was watching that fight the other night. I was up at like 2:00 in the morning. I'm like, I'm about to watch a fight, man. And I was watching him fight Iran Barkley before that. But yeah, man.
That's a fight, bro. Yes.
Tony, like, if anybody want to learn how to handle a hooker or to handle a guy who throw a lot of uppercuts, just watch James Tony and how James Tony handled hookers and how James Tony handled. Even though I do understand Evander was on his way out. He had the injury and everything. He couldn't stop that straight right. He couldn't stop that lead right that Tony kept smashing him with. But yeah, Tony always been one of my favorites. Always been one of my favorites.
Lights Out. I love Lights Out, man. Lights Out. I think his best fight to me, where he knocked the shit out of Michael Nunn.
Yeah, he handled Nunn.
Oh my god. Yeah, Michael Nunn. Oh my god. That was the that left hand. Oh my god, bro. It get me chills with it's like I'm getting hit with it. Oh god. Matter of fact, I gotta watch that later, man. You gave me an idea. I'm gonna watch that and Iran Barkley. That was a good fight too, though. I'm gonna watch both of them fight. Yeah, Iran Barkley, he did beat Thomas Hearns twice. Oh god, man. That hurt my soul too. Not when he knocked him out the first fight, they went to distance the second.
So man, we got this fight getting ready to start soon. What's your prediction? Who you got tonight? What round? You gotta think that one time, man.
Because he off the layoff though, man. And the last time he was on the layoff, he got hurt. The only reason he won that fight because the guy he fought was not that good. And Barrios is kind of good. So okay. I'm gonna take one time by decision. I don't want to take him, but I'm gonna have to because he's more experienced. But again, I would not be shocked if Mario Barrios wins that fight. I'm not shocked because he's more active. He did fight Tank, and again, Thurman doesn't have that much power. I mean, he got speed a little bit. He got good timing a little, but I'm gonna go with Keith Thurman. I'm gonna go with one time. I don't want to, but I'm gonna go with one time.
I'll take Thurman by split decision.
That's fair.
I think the fight gonna be a lot more competitive than people think, man.
Like, no, it ain't gonna be a blowout. No.
I mean, his name is still somewhat of a draw, somewhat. You know, so I think a lot of people are probably expecting him to go out there and mop the floor with Barrios because a lot of people don't know exactly who Barrios is. But like you said, I mean, it's the layoff. It's the fact that, you ain't looked great the last couple fights. And, you cut your hair too. You ain't the same one time no more, man. You ain't ponytail Thurman.
I know.
So.
Fact.
But all right, brother, man, it's been great chop it up with you one more time. Let these
absolutely.
Let these people know where to find you at.
Undisputed Spit on Instagram and Facebook. They can also find me at Romello Skuggs on Instagram, and they can find me on Eric Arson Russell on Facebook. Undisputed Spit, and it's good talking to you, my brother.
For sure. Peace, man. Remember, we be back next week. Stand up and stand out. See you later.
Peace.